Hey y'all, what's up? Long time no see. It's March 7th, and I wanted to report in really quick. Just a little update. While all this crazy shit's going on everywhere else, you can be assured I still got this skies covered here and the bad weather. So it's been like a spring in Houston since February. Really mild this year, just like I said it would be, at least in Houston, my area anyway. But I think everywhere else, you can see the whole United States is pretty clear. And I still have all my turrets pointed due northwest, right in this area right here. All of my 5 dishes, my Cloudbuster cannons, and Orgone artillery. So I'm in Houston and pointing straight this way. You can see how far it reaches. You see this big hole up here of where it's clear weather? That's from the Cloudbuster cannons right here. And all this bad weather that's coming in, it gets zapped before it even comes in. See, I'm going to show you how it works. Over here, down here, there's a jet stream that's going this way. Okay, it goes all the way across. And just above it, a little bit above it, over here, there's a jet stream that goes this way through the whole United States. And it's like that year-round pretty much. So all the weather comes in through this jet stream right here, and it gets filtered into the whole United States. The cold weather too, which comes from the north. Now, when I say north up here, I don't mean you're going uphill on a ball, okay? North just means pointing toward this magnetic center, which is probably a mountain, a big magnet that all the compasses point towards. Okay, that's north. Because this is a flat plane. You're just looking at it standing up. So anyway, all the weather's coming in, the bad weather on this jet stream, which goes this way. And see this stuff right here? I'm not even worried about that. Because, well, it's got to rain. But see, it's not really raining anyway. It's disappearing. It's turning into green. All that is not even rain. The only part that's raining is the yellow and the red parts, which you can see is not severe at all. That's just normal spring showers. So I'm concentrating over here on this big mass of red storm coming in, and it can't get past my invisible line right here. You can see it all the way up here cutting through like butter. Okay, and as soon as it gets in my field, it gets shredded. Because you can see it's going all the way up here. I have all my equipment steady, pointing this way. And as soon as it hits this line right here, it changes. First of all, the red comes out of the storms. So it's not a storm anymore, it's just like water. And it's still cutting deep up here, like butter. See, nowhere else can you see these like red storms going through somewhere and then changing. Like over here, I don't have anything pointed this way, so they just go normal, right? They just flow all the way across like normal clouds do. They just flow. But over here, something's happening. It's hitting something right here. It's hitting like a wall that's clearing all the way up to here. Because that's 5 satellite dishes. They're not all... I do everything by ear, so I don't use a compass to point my equipment. I just find my north wall on my house, and I go from there by ear. So I have all of them pointing this way, but they're not exactly, because I don't use a compass. So I'm doing this by ear, and it's pretty good, see? because I wanted to cover a wide area anyway, so they don't have to all be perfect in the same exact spot, if that makes sense. So anyway, all this is getting stopped as it comes through from the jet stream. That's where I'm getting it now. I had to figure all this stuff out slowly, how the jet streams work and all that, because I didn't go to school for this, and I don't really would trust it anyway, because they don't really tell you anything about this. First of all, they want you to report the weather, but I create it, so there's a difference. Or I change it for the better, because that's what Orgone does. It structures and balances everything, including food, the air, water around you, and the sky, if you focus it on Cloudbuster cannons. So when the time is right, I'm going to turn all my turrets this way, and they're going to be pointing this way towards hurricanes when they come. So last year, when you seen them all turn around and make an about phase and a reversal of fortune, that was us doing that. I don't know if y'all understand that, but I've been doing it by myself for years, and they got close and they've hit and all that, but I've diminished them. I made them smaller and affected all of them. You can see on radar, because I'm not just going to tell you, I'm going to show you. And most people don't know how to look for the patterns of all this, so I'm going to show you. It's really quite basic, but I had to figure it out slowly using radar and using the effect that I'm seeing and going by that. So when the time's right, I'm going to shoot this way and stop hurricanes. And again, I have two people that help. One guy in Tennessee and another guy up here in Virginia, I think. So that's going to take care of the East Coast, because I couldn't really reach over there that well for hurricanes. So really, that's why they turned all the way around, because of them guys helping with the same equipment that I have, because I showed them how to do it. And I figured all this out by accident. There's one video, a few videos back, where I show like the original video of how I figured all this out when I seen it on radar for the first time. And then from there, that was just pointing straight up, like straight up at 90-degree angle, which I didn't even mean to do, but I saw the effect it was having on a storm going over the city locally when I zoomed in like to the city of Houston. And so that's when I knew I was onto something. And from there, I fine-tuned it and figured out how to aim the dishes, because there's few dimensions to that. Yeah, you can point towards a certain compass, like north, south, east, or west, but there's also a tilt to those satellite dishes. So if you tilt it around 45 degree up in the sky, that's about where you need to be. That's the sweet spot. But you can point them lower, and it goes farther that way, because it skims the earth and it goes farther. Or you can point up higher, and it'll hit it closer. Like if there's a storm right up on you, like a hurricane, I can point up like higher than 45 degrees angle, and it'll work better because it's so close and the storms are so tall. And to reach far away, I would point it at a lower angle, and it would skim the water this way, and it would go farther, like over here. This is how far I can reach, all the way over here. That's like 2,000 miles, maybe, at least 1,000. I don't know, but it's far, and it wouldn't work on a globe Earth either. It wouldn't work on a ball. Neither would hurricanes and storms would not work on a spinning ball with no container. We basically live inside a petri dish with a dome on top, because we're basically like an experiment, probably. And so this is the big petri dish. There's a dome on top, and that's why all these things can move around like nothing. If we were spinning 1,000 miles an hour, there would be hurricanes all the time, in every direction. It'd be 1,000-mile winds. So just think about that. Or you could look at it that we live in a giant toilet bowl and we're floating on the turds. But either way, the water's flat and you can't get around that. There's no experiment that you can do that water will stick to a ball and you can spin it. Everything that's big you can make in small miniatures and it should work as far as like models and science and testing. So if you take a globe, a regular globe from the store, which if you look at the bottom of it, it says that it's for fun only. It's not for education, which means it's not real. But suppose it is real. Take that model globe, and on the very top of it, where the North Pole is supposed to be, put a magnet. You know, like a little round magnet or whatever. Put on top. That represents the North Pole, right? So you take a bunch of little small compasses and put them anywhere you want around that globe, on the side, on the bottom, anywhere, and none of those compasses are going to point north. But if you do that same experiment with a flat, like a board game that's round, and you put in the middle of the board game, you put a magnet for the North Pole up here, and then you put compasses all the way around that game board, they're all going to point toward the center of that game board, which is the North Pole. So that's testable, repeatable science that you can do at home, and it's common sense. Water does not lie. It has to have containment. In your bathtub, if you didn't have the sides of your bathtub, the water would go away. Same thing with a lake, same thing with oceans. Because water is so heavy, one drop weighs 1 gram. So imagine how heavy the oceans are to be spinning and upside down, like by Australia, where everybody's supposedly walking upside down. Come on. Anyway, I'm just saying, that's how I know my equipment works too. That proves that my equipment works, because if it was a round ball, it would only work the way I'm shooting these invisible rays around. It would only work like around here, because supposedly on a ball Earth, that's how long it is before it starts turning. So I would never be able to hit this far. It would be up here in space. Do you see what I'm saying? So anyway, that's just my observation, and I'm sticking to it. But up here you can see another coincidence that you would call that all this is disappearing right where my invisible river is, that changes it as it goes through it. It's having trouble going through it to begin with, but once it gets through it, it changes it and calms it, turns it into nothing really. So all this is very interesting, at least to me, because there's countless lives, animals, plants, trees that have been saved since I started doing this, directly from those Cloudbuster cannons that I developed. But I don't mind sharing it, because you can't really make money off of this. It's not in their best interest to stop the bad weather, because they come in and fix it after it breaks everything. And it's a sad world. You see what's going on in the news, what these people are capable of. So if they were able to control the weather, if I can control it and balance it, then that means they can control it and turn it bad. And that's what they've been doing, and that's what I've been stopping. The chemtrails too. You just can't see it. Like locally, it doesn't really erase unless you point Orgone right at a chemtrail. Like above my house, they spray all the time, and it doesn't erase them outside my house, unless they're in the exact direction where I'm pointing. But the sky's so big that, that's why I have aiming with these things, because they go far. All the way up here, it's cutting through like butter. And it's pretty wide too. That area is like, I don't know, 200 or 300 miles wide. The whole area that I'm clearing. See, it's chopping it right here on the edge. You can see it chopping it up. and doesn't really get through. So anyway, that was just a little update for you. While bombs and shit are dropping everywhere else, it's clear skies over here, smooth sailing, and don't worry about this hurricane season. We're going to do everything possible to turn them all around again, just to prove that this works. And the more people I can get doing it, doing the same kind of technique and equipment, if enough people do this, there will no longer be any bad weather. Just from us alone. So have a good weekend, folks. Stay frosty, head on a swivel, and thank you for this. Have a good day. Bye.